I'm Kat Iniba, and welcome back to Holo Holo, your top entertainment and lifestyle show for Asian Pacific Americans. In the studio today is actor Shannon Kook, who stars in the film Dark Places. It's a film by writer Gillian Flynn, or based on her novel. And welcome.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
so
me,
much
Kat.
for being here.
Yeah, glad I could make it.
Now, Dark Places. Tell me a little bit more, because I have not read the book. I have read Gone Girl.
Well, if you like Gone Girl, I'm pretty sure you'll love Dark Places. I read it in 2 days. And when I watched Gone Girl, I was like, the tension I felt watching that was exactly what I felt during the book. I'm like, okay, totally the same writer, because I hadn't read Gone Girl myself. But it's basically based on a family in the 80s. There's a mass murder. It's called the Satan Sacrifice of KIKU, which is a made-up town in Kansas. And the sole survivor is a 6-year-old Libby Day, who Charlize Theron plays in the grown-up form. And she testifies that her brother murdered her 2 sisters and her mother. And there's like blood on the walls, and it's known as like this big, weird, satanic, ritual. And her brother's a friend of my character, Trey Tapano, who just gets involved in a lot of drugs, and he's into death metal and hurting animals, and he's a very dark character. And I'm a big part of the reveal into whether or not he did the murder, because she has to revisit the case, which Nicholas Hoult plays an investigator, like a club called the Kill Club.
The Kill Club, yeah. Tell me a little bit more about the Kill Club.
Well, they're a group that in their spare time just like to solve unsolved mysteries. So they approach her to revisit it, and she's really certain that her brother killed her whole family. And she just does it to get a buck, because she's run out of money, and she's like an anti-hero. So Gillian started writing her as a good person, and she's just like, it wasn't really working. So she made her like a likable, unlikable character. And a lot of the characters are, we all have like it starts off, I have a meanness inside me, real as an organ. We all have that dark side that we sort of ignore or don't really flesh out in public. And a lot of these characters have flaws, but you somehow sympathize with them.
I think that's like in real life. I think we all have flaws. I don't know about the dark.
No? Maybe it's just me, I don't know.
Or maybe we do, but I just don't want to admit it. Now, what was the auditioning process like for your character?
I did it on a tape, and it was pretty intense. There was a lot of screaming and me doing drugs in the audition, and it's weird to do auditions in a room when you feel like your neighbors are going to be concerned. And you're screaming, and you want to get the take done really quickly so they don't call anyone.
So you would rather do it in front of the casting crew?
Well, personally, I love taping. I prefer taping, but when it comes to those intense scenes, I feel like there's more. I feel safer doing it in a separate space to my taping, to my house.
Tell me how different it was working on Dark Places compared to like Degrassi High and The Conjuring.
Yeah, well, it was in America, which was really interesting, and in Louisiana, which was extremely hot, and working in a different location, and then with Chloe Moretz and Ty Sheridan and Christina Hendricks was really exciting. Degrassi is a big family, just a lot of fun-loving young people, up-and-coming great actors, and going to set every day. But I was in a dark place, really. We're basically doing the movie, and I really detached from the world and my friends, and was bad at getting back to emails, and I missed my friend's wedding, and I had missed a pilot that I was supposed to play a lead in, because I just really had to focus, and wasn't drinking for a couple months, really like eating tuna at night. Yeah, just like salads, and just really counting my carbs, and it was so stressful trying to stay in shape and get ready for the shoot, but then focus on the character. Whereas on Degrassi, it's a different tone, and I'm also both misunderstood people to me. One was an ethnic person in Kansas in the 80s, who I think was overcompensating for the cornering that he'd felt as a person with a lack of identity, a mixed race person in that sort of town, and really overcompensating with his masculinity. Whereas my gay character in Degrassi, his masculinity is demeaned as a gay person, but he also deals with it in a different way. So both are suppressed, but one channels his anger and really lashes out to anybody that looks at him a little too long. And on Degrassi, my character Zane says, by hurting, he wasn't into hurting people.
Right,
If you hurt a bully, you only give them what they want,
exactly,
or something like that.
Right, the attention that they want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, aside from acting, you're also a great humanitarian. I hear that you went to India to build a school. Is that true?
Yeah. Well, I try to be eco-conscious, and
how did that even come about?
well, that was channeled through Free the Children, but it's a purely volunteered thing. So we pay for the whole thing. We raise money.
Right.
There's like we raise money to have the bricks and all those things, and then everything is not funded by anybody. I think kids think that because we're on Degrassi that the trip's paid for. It's not.
Right.
So it's our decision to go, and then we just pack all our stuff, get our shots and things, and venture out there. And it's a little scary, you know, walking around in towns you don't know. But
what you're doing, it's great, you know?
Yeah, very gratifying, and just really, it sort of jolts you because you think that your state of existence and your world is the way the rest of the world is, and then you see just the people with a lot less than you, the way they smile, and just the things that people are going through, and it really wakes you up as to the rest of the world is not through the way I see it, and it really sort of humbles you a bit.
Exactly. You realize, oh, I'm taking a lot of this for granted, you know?
And yeah, and then, you know, a bunch of us, we were arriving in the car, and like a few of us just started like breaking down into tears, and we didn't know why. There's just so much to take in.
Yeah, yeah.
And that happened multiple times, and you know, it's a lot of young people who had left home for the first time that never not been with their parents. So some people got homesick, and you're physically drained. The food is different, the weather's different. You know, you get stomach bugs because your body's not used to the water.
Yeah.
And then you see kids who are cleaning trash every morning, and they're 6 years old, but have a way happier demeanor than you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Now, Dark Places. Why should I go see the film?
Well, if you like her books,
I love her books.
Yeah, her books are outstanding, and she has Sharp Objects coming to a TV series now. Yeah. It's a great thriller. The cast is outstanding: Charlize Theron, Christina Hendricks, Nicholas Hoult, Corey Stoll, and me. You know, Chloe Moretz, Ty Sheridan, who's playing Cyclops in the new X-Men.
Oh wow.
The content for me reading the book was very much about family, and that all tops off at the end.
Yeah.
It's very moving when I read the book. It teared me up a bit reading to the end, but it's just, you do not expect what unfurls.
Right.
So I'm just really excited for the movie to come out and for people to see it and see what they think. Hopefully it speaks to people.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shannon.
Thanks
a
for having
pleasure
me.
chatting with you.
Yeah, you
thank
as
you
well.
for sharing your story.
Totally.
Mom has been in trouble. I heard rumors.
What kind of rumors?
The police are looking for you.
There's some serious allegations about your son.
Mom, he's a freak. Just go in his room, he's got all sorts of weird stuff.
I was 8 the night they were killed. The little orphan girl of the Kansas Prairie Massacre.
It's a real tragedy what happened. And your brother in jail going on 28 years.
If you want to convince me that Ben's innocent, you're wasting your time.
No, you just gotta pick your brain about what happened that day.
Tell me about this club.
We call it the Kill Club. Ex-cops, private investigators. We solve crimes. That's what we do.